Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land across Victoria, where this work takes place. I pay my respect to elders past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. A cultural warning: this presentation may talk about people who have passed away and sensitive health issues in Aboriginal communities. Our focus today is on preventing vaping and smoking among Aboriginal teenagers in Victoria who are between the ages of 15 and 25 in a culturally safe manner. Prevention initiatives must be based on culture, respect, and self-determination, as this age group is particularly vulnerable. We will draw on Victorian Aboriginal sources including VACHOS and the Yuri Youth Council, as well as national data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, to explore strategies that support young people in making healthy choices while maintaining ties to their culture and community. For Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, smoking and vaping remain serious health issues, particularly for youth between the ages of 15 and 25. Among Aboriginal people, tobacco use continues to be one of the main causes of avoidable illness and premature death. Rates are still much higher than those of the non-Indigenous populations, despite some improvements. Approximately 43% of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Victoria who are 15 years of age or older smoke every day, compared to 11% of non-Indigenous Australians, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. The percentage of 15 to 17-year-old Aboriginal people who smoke decreased from 30% in 1994 to 13% in 2018 to 2019. The percentage is still more than twice as high of that of youth who are not Indigenous, though vaping is currently a growing issue.
Tobacco use was not commonly used until after colonization. Historically, tobacco wasn't just used for smoking only. It was a native plant used for smoking ceremony where selected native plants were burned as an act of cleansing, healing, connection to land, spirit, and community, and an act of celebration for protection and preparation. It was not until after colonization that tobacco smoking became increasingly adopted, and for generations since, it became a habit and coping mechanism for stress. Smoking is not just a simple decision, but rather a more complex reflection on historical and racial inequalities they have faced. Tobacco is also a form of socializing and connection for one another. Chewing bush tobacco is also another form of using, and because it's derived from the natural plant itself, the perspective that its impact on physical health isn't as harmful as smoking, which is a big misconception. Gifting tobacco to loved ones is also a way to express love and plays a part in connection to their land, culture, and community. Fast forward to today, as a result from generational trauma, it's a form of self-medication for the disconnection one feels from loss of culture, identity, grief, and depression.
Colonisation introduced tobacco as a form of control and payment, creating intergenerational patterns of addiction. Smoking rates are declining faster in Aboriginal communities than the general Australian popularity. The Victorian Aboriginal Community Controlled Health Organisation aids First Nations people with smoking by supporting members to maintain a smoke-free policy, advocating for new and continued funding for smoking, and developing culturally safe and appropriate smoking cessation information materials. Flip to Vape Victoria, an Aboriginal-led health program that provides users with beneficial information as to why you should quit smoking and harmful effects to allow users to visually see the harms. With the aid of statistics and other Indigenous Australians showing their quitting smoking stories, which can be a motivator, and the person who smokes can speak with someone who experienced something similar to them. In 1994, 55% of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people aged 18 and over were smokers. 20 years later, in 2014, this has declined to 45%. In contrast, government-led mainstream organisations don't produce the same results as an Aboriginal-led smoking prevention program. These programs may lack cultural relevance, use fear-based messaging, and fail to engage community meaningfully. In 2001, 56% of Victorians aged 18 to 24 reported they were non-smokers. In 2020, this had risen to 77% amongst the same group. Overall, it is evident that it's the use of culturally safe programs that are designed and led by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples that have greater effects in reducing smoking rates within Aboriginal communities rather than a government-led mainstream program.
The Victorian Aboriginal Community Controlled Health Organisation, or VACHO, plays a central role in reducing tobacco and vaping-related harm among Aboriginal youth through culturally safe Aboriginal-led health programs across Victoria. VATCHO supports local ACHOs by helping them deliver quit smoking programs for young adults, create culturally relevant health resources, and maintain smoke-free environments. These efforts ensure that programs remain self-determined, practical, and grounded in cultural safety and respect. One example of a VATCHO-supported initiative is the Deadly Dan campaign, led by the Victorian Aboriginal Health Service. The campaign uses culturally safe storytelling through a superhero character named Deadly Dan, who teaches children about the dangers of smoking in a fun and engaging way. While designed for children aged 3 to 9, it plays a vital role in early prevention by promoting cultural pride and health awareness before harmful behaviours begin. By starting education early, it lays the foundation for better health outcomes later in life. And instead of using fear or judgment, the campaign empowers children and communities through messages of pride, identity, and healthy living. Another example is Flip the Vape, the Koori Way, a statewide anti-vaping campaign led by the Victorian Aboriginal Health Service. The program responds to statistics showing that 22% of Aboriginal people aged 15 and over have tried vaping, with 16% of vapers aged 18 to 24, which is the highest of any age group. Funded by the Tackling Indigenous Smoking program, it avoids scare tactics and uses culturally safe messages to help people make informed decisions. Through authentic voices, storytelling, and strong role models, it encourages Aboriginal youth to flip the vape and choose smoke-free living in a way that is empowering and culturally meaningful. Together, these programs show that the strength of Aboriginal-led, culturally grounded health promotion in improving health outcomes for young people in Victoria.
Why the program is culturally safe. The VATCHO-led youth-focused campaign Flip the Vape is considered culturally safe. It is co-designed with young Aboriginal peoples across Victoria. Flip the Vape has been built on the basis of direct community input, not imposed by unrelated individuals. It aims to showcase real experiences, voices, and opinions of the people it aims to support. Mainstream anti-smoking ads use appeals to fear and guilt, while Flip the Vape uses a strength-based approach. This is achieved through humour, Aboriginal art, and respectfully presented quitting stories, consequently helping build trust and avoiding shame, as it tends to be a huge barrier when seeking help. VATCHO stresses that all health programs must be grounded in Aboriginal self-determination and support cultural healing. For a program to be culturally safe, it means recognizing the effects of trauma and racism. The Flip the Vape campaign does not only that, but by giving young people tools that reflect their culture and not erasing it, therefore promoting a sense of pride in identity. The Flip the Vape campaign is successful because it doesn't talk at young people, but with them, in their languages and on their terms. The Healing Foundation 2018 advocates this is what truly makes a campaign culturally safe and effective, along with healing that comes from within the community.
Overall, smoking affects many populations and specifically the First Nations peoples community. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people may smoke due to historical and sociological causes and even due to their age. Evidence shows that smoking prevention is more effective when Aboriginal health is in Aboriginal hands. Programs led by First Nations people are not only more successful, but also culturally safe, respectful, and empowering to the community they support.